Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Inside Visit. Today, we're going to talk about acting and science. And with me today is David Eyrig, who wrote a book called The Actor's Machine, which outlines the Eyrig approach to acting. And David's been an actor and acting instructor for more than 30 years. He's also certified in neuro-linguistic programming, which is probably the reason he wrote a book that combines science and acting. So, David, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And so, could you explain to me what the Eyrig approach is?
Sure, yeah. The Eyrig approach is a neurobiological perspective on acting, and it's based on, it attempts to remove any of the confusion from acting by removing the use of metaphors when describing the skill set of acting.
Okay, and so basically you're using neuroscience, which is the study of the brain,
Right.
and when you're an actor, you need to access parts of the brain such as memory, parts of the brain such as senses, and other parts of the brain that bring your life experience into your acting, right?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, the goal of realistic acting is to, according to the current definition, is to live truthfully moment to moment in imaginary circumstances. And so I sort of said, well, if we're going to live truthfully in imaginary circumstances, maybe I should know something about how we live truthfully in our everyday circumstances. And so primarily the two principles that I use are one, in a very widely accepted theory called pattern completion, which describes how we process information, in other words, live moment to moment. And then secondly, I use a theory from the fields of learning and memory, which talks about how we respond in the moment through the filters of our character. So as another person in another set of circumstances.
Yeah, because acting's been taught almost the same way for the last 100 years, with the Stanislavski method and Meisner. And you're trained in Meisner.
Correct, yeah. Yeah,
So-
I taught Weiser for many years.
What was the trigger that got you to write this?
Good question. I think the trigger was just I was seeing, honestly, the trigger was I was seeing a lot of very talented people who were either being asked to leave some of the greatest programs in the country, training programs in the country, or dropping out because the training wasn't working for them. And I thought, that's really unacceptable. There's got to be a better way, a more efficient way, and a more effective way to train actors. And when I found some of the very practical uses from the cognitive sciences and implemented them, I got instant results and said, this is worth pursuing.
Now, you're also combining something called the ALBA method. Could you explain what that is?
Yeah, sure. No, the ALBA is very exciting. The ALBA method is it was developed by a neuroscientist named Susanna Block and her team in Chile. And what they identified was what they believe are the 6 primary emotions. And then they identified the postural attitude, breathing patterns, and then gestures or the muscle uses for each one of those emotions. So it's a physiological approach to trigger these emotions.
Oh, wow. And now you caught the eye of the University of California, Irvine. Two separate academic departments. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, so yes, I'm very excited about this. What we're doing this fall, we're teaching a class at the Claire Trevor School of the Arts, and it is a collaboration between the School of the Arts and also the Center for the Neurobiology of Learning and Memory. Dr. Michael Yasa is the director of that program, and he has pledged the support of his fellows, which are some of the greatest researchers and most well-decorated, if you will, researchers in the world. On the team is the 5th most, a gentleman, Dr. Jim McGaw, is cited as the 5th most influential living neuroscientist.
Wow.
So he's one of the people on the team that are going to be coming to my class and also having discussions and talking about the components of memory and learning and how that would relate to the creation of a character. So yes, there's this wonderful collaboration that is frankly historical. The last time that a collaboration between the science and arts really occurred at this level was Stanislavski and Pavlov, and they were going to put a laboratory in the Moscow Art Theater of Pavlov's. But you know what? It never happened. And so at UCI, it's actually happening.
Well, speaking of Pavlov, the reason you're hearing other noises is because David's dog is wanting to get into the room. Yeah. So it's the Pavlovian response there. Yeah. So anyway, David, this is an interesting topic. I wish we had hours to talk about it, but thank you for being on our show.
Yeah, thanks for engaging.
Anyway, this is David Eyrig, and his book again is called The Actor's Machine. You could get it on Amazon.com. And we'll be back with another edition of Inside Visit next week. Thank you.